Hi there, it's 18:30 Greenwich Meridian time. This is News Tonight on GHOne TV live from our Platinum Studios here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Emmanuel Ijabin. Coming up in the next hour. Government offers military enlistment to one family member of 6 potential recruits who died in a stampede. Overlord of Gonja Kingdom finds Lobi beautiful people to cleanse land as Council of Elders seek forgiveness and reconciliation after 3 months-old deadly clashes left 34 dead and thousands displaced. As the world transitions from fossil fuels to cleaner energy sources, Energy Minister charges NPA to be innovative and technology-driven.
Here you are at the crossroad. Technology is fast moving, so you need to reposition yourself so that you can become relevant.
A business minority in Parliament describes 2026 budget as growthless and minimalist, offering only cosmetic rhetoric from a crawling government. And later on the foreign front, Tanzanian president promises probe into election protest deaths as she urges prosecutors to consider reducing or dropping may have been involved in unrest without fully understanding their actions. The details coming up shortly. To stay with us. We are grateful that you could join us on this broadcast once again. Welcome to News Tonight on GHOne TV. There is some consolation for the families of the 6 people who lost their lives during the military recruitment exercise, which resulted in a stampede at the Elwak Stadium on Wednesday, November 12, 2025 in Accra. Deputy Defense Minister Broja Jemfi says the armed forces will enlist relatives to replace the deceased.
It was a sad scene at the home of one of the victims of Wednesday's stampede. Deputy Defense Minister Broja Jemfi family at Inyan Mame in the Central Region, offering comfort and reassurance. He announced that government will honor the memory of the 6 deceased potential recruits by enrolling one relative from each family into the armed forces. He expressed heartfelt condolences and urged the community to stand with the bereaved families as they navigate their loss. Lydia Ejekum, the mother of one of the deceased, said the announcement brings some comfort to her family, expressing gratitude for what she described as a thoughtful gesture in a time of deep pain. For the grieving families, the gesture may not erase the pain, but it offers a measure of hope as they mourn the tragic loss of their loved ones.
6 young people injured during a stampede at the Ghana Armed Forces screening exercise at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi on Wednesday have successfully undergone treatment and have been discharged. The victims sustained varying degrees of injury and were rushed to various health facilities, including the Tech and Konfanochi hospitals. Mayor of Kumasi, Richard Oforiajiman-Bwedi, described the incident as unfortunate and assured the public the measures have been taken to ensure that similar occurrences do not happen. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Isaac Justice Bidiako has more.
Despite nationwide calls for suspension of the ongoing Ghana Armed Forces recruitment process following Wednesday's deadly stampede at the Ewak Sports Stadium in Accra, the process is continuing at the Kumasi Babayara Sports Stadium. Thousands of young men and women thronged the stadium at dawn, hoping to secure a place at the country's military service. Many have queued, undergoing stages of physical screening and documents verifications. This comes barely 48 hours after 6 prospective recruits in Accra lost their lives and several others sustaining injuries in a stampede, forcing authorities to suspend the process in the capital. However, in Kumasi, the exercise continued to gather even greater momentum with large crowds and heavy security presence. Mayor of Kumasi, Richard Ofori Ajimanbuadi, is impressed with the new improved arrangement so far.
Today when we came here, the observation is that there's been much improved organization. They have provided a lot more days, so they have enough shade for the people who are around and want to be part of this exercise. Today, there's not been any incident whatsoever. We have not recorded any case. So it means that the measures that the military high command has put in place, making sure that we disperse them appropriately so that there's enough ventilation and organization is getting as good effect.
The Kumasi mayor disclosed that they have asked management of Babayara Sports Stadium to assess the process with floodlight so that the process can continue.
They're supposed to write exams on Monday, and the number here, 15,000, is huge. So we'd have to work over the normal working periods just so we can cover a lot more people. And there's the mentality that this is the selection process. So everybody wants to get attention. That's what is brought about today's difficulty. So lessons have been learned, and I'm sure going forward there will be an improvement.
Meanwhile, all the 6 victims in the Kumasi stampede have been discharged from hospital. The mayor of Kumasi, who visited various hospitals where they were admitted, disclosed government readiness to clear all their bills. Reporting for GHOne News, Isaac Justice Bediako, Kumasi.
This is news tonight. After this break, we have more for you in the bulletin. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is News Tonight on GHOne TV. My name is Emmanuel Ejaben. Overlord of the Gonja Kingdom, Yagbongura B. Kunuto Jewuswala I has imposed a fine including 100 cows, rams, goats and cash on the Lobi Berefo people to cleanse and restore peace to the land. The move follows an emotional plea by the Lobi Berefo Council of Elders for forgiveness and reconciliation after 3 months of deadly clashes over a piece of land left dozens dead and thousands displaced in Binyiri in the Savannah region.
The palace of the Yagbongura in Damongo was filled with emotion as elders of the Lobi Berefo community, led by Savannah Regional Minister Salisu B. Awurbi and Deputy Lands Minister Suleimana Yusuf, appeared before the overlord of the Gonja Kingdom, Yagbongura B. Kunuto Jewuswala I. They came with heavy hearts seeking forgiveness and lasting peace after the Binyiri conflict, which claimed at least 34 lives and displaced over 50,000 people.
With this meeting today, everything has come to an end. For we know that once the king has spoken, he has promised that this history will not be repeated anymore. And all of us are going to cooperate with him to make sure that the Gonja Lobi people will coexist peacefully.
The elders reaffirmed their loyalty to the Gonja Kingdom, acknowledging that the land belongs to the Yagbongura and his chiefs. They sought permission to bury their dead and appealed for government support in rebuilding their communities.
The Yagbongura sees the Lobis, the Berefos as his people, and so he has forgiven them. Except to say that when things like this happen, there's a need for some pacification to be done. And since they've admitted that they are the causes of the issue, for that matter they have come to apologize, he's asking them to do some customary things.
The Yagbongura ordered the Vice President of the Yagbon Traditional Council, Pembura Bambagi Ndefesu II, to announce items required for the traditional pacification, a symbolic act to cleanse the land of spilled blood. The purification list is extensive. Elders of the Lobi Berefo community are to provide 100 male cattle, 7 rams, 7 goats, 7 white cocks, 7 bowls of white kola, and 100,000 cedis within 3 weeks. The overlord's directive is expected to be carried out before the end of November, paving way for the purification rites and the possible return of displaced families.
And so the elders of the Berefo Lobi group has accepted to go out, and that they are happy with what he has told them. They put their heads together and see what they can do so they are able to satisfy the customary aspect of this whole negotiation. And so we want to thank the Berefo group, we want to thank the Yagbongura and his elders, and we want to thank the people of Savannah region for working to ensure that there's peace in this area once again. We want to bring development, and if there's no peace, we cannot bring development.
The Lobi Berefo Council pledged to work toward reconciliation and peaceful coexistence with the Gonjas and other ethnic groups in the Savannah region, marking what many hope will be the beginning of healing after months of grief and displacement.
Government has been urged to strengthen collaboration between private and public facilities to improve healthcare delivery in the country. I'm speaking at the November edition of Achimota Speaks, a monthly program organized by all students of the Achimota School in Accra. CEO of GHOne Health Consult, William Delali Ofori, said the move will help ensure that Ghanaians receive timely and effective medical care. Isaac Abila reports.
Over the years, the Ghana National Health Insurance Scheme has faced several challenges, including limited coverage, delays in claims processing, and inadequate access to quality healthcare services. In light of this, healthcare specialist and CEO of GHOne Health Consult, William Delali Ofori, is urging the government to strengthen collaboration with the private health sector.
Private and public healthcare need to work together. And people in the healthcare ecosystem, they're not collaborating. Do you know how difficult it is to transfer a patient from one hospital to other? We have to get to a place where whether you're a minister or a laborer, your chances of survival in any healthcare institution is almost equal.
On her part, former Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Lydia Sani Selby, emphasized the need for government to ensure that funds meant for healthcare delivery are duly allocated.
The government needs to make sure that the monies that are allocated to health are released to health. the health NHI fund has been uncapped. So all of it must go so that the healthcare institutions are given the money. But they too, when they get the money, they must use it properly on healthcare and not on non-essential things.
Meanwhile, keynote speaker and consultant neurosurgeon Dr. Teddy Totime stressed the importance of private sector investment in specialized healthcare in the country.
Specialized healthcare is a business, and we must look at it as a business case. Communicable diseases were pushed and sorted out by government money, but as we go deeper and deeper into non-communicable diseases, it demands a lot more investment, and I think that private investment is the way to go.
The November edition of Achimota Speaks was under the theme Healthcare or Deaf Care. It brought together health experts and stakeholders to discuss ways to improve healthcare delivery and ensure that Ghanaians have access to timely and quality medical care.
Ghana's Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. GHOne, has urged the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, to strategically reposition itself to remain relevant in the regulatory sector as the world transitions from fossil fuels to cleaner energy sources. According to him, the NPA must be innovative and technology-driven to adapt to the changing landscape, as Ghana currently boasts the highest number of electric vehicles on the African continent. Carbon Power was at the NPA's 20th anniversary celebrations in Accra and reports.
The Ministry of Energy reports that as of November 2023, Ghana had approximately 17,000 electric vehicles, a number that may have doubled by now. Delivering a speech to mark the NPA's 20th anniversary, Energy Minister Dr. GHOne emphasized that the authority must transition in tandem with the global shift towards cleaner energy.
In Ghana today, if you check the statistics, Ghana has the highest number of EV vehicles in Africa. And when I was driving around, these days I see EV charging stations coming up. It's led by some private people. And now the order is that people are even putting solar panels because the cost of solar has gone down by about 80% over the past few years. So people are going off completely from electricity, going off completely from fossil fuels, and charging their EV vehicles. And so MPA, you are at a crossroad. Technology is fast moving. So you need to reposition yourself so that you can become relevant.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Eduji Tamaklo, acknowledged the minister's advice. He used the occasion to pay tribute to former President John Agyekum Kufuor for his visionary leadership in establishing the authority, which has contributed to deregulating the petroleum sector.
I want to thank particularly former President Agyekum Kufuor for the vision to put this authority together. What you see today as the National Petroleum Authority started as a unit, let me put it that way, at the Ministry of Energy. At that time, it was called the National Petrol Tender Board. It was just a small department at the ministry.
As the NPA commemorates its 20th anniversary, it is poised to reinforce its regulatory framework through amendments to its governing laws. This is expected to ensure alignment with prevailing and emerging trends, with the ultimate goal of attaining 100% compliance from stakeholders within the downstream petroleum sector.
Now, the Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Janimento, has urged the police to intensify surveillance to prevent thieves from stealing street lights and other public property. He's urging the public to act as watchdogs by reporting any illegal activities that may threaten the ongoing street light rehabilitation and installation project. He made the appeal during the launch and official handing over of the project to the contractor.
For years, many parts of Ghana, particularly sections of Accra, have grappled with non-functioning streetlights, leaving residents exposed to crime and accidents, especially at night. Despite several interventions by successive governments to restore and expand street lighting infrastructure, the problem has persisted. In a renewed effort to tackle the challenge, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has initiated the Street Lighting Rehabilitation and Installation Project. The initiative seeks to strengthen the national power grid and boost solar panel plants nationwide to enhance street lighting services and ensure brighter, safer communities. Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu commended the Energy Ministry for its proactive approach and urged the contractor to execute the project with professionalism and dedication to ensure timely completion.
I wish to commend the Ministry of Energy and all its partner institutions for their collaboration and technical support, which have been critical in ensuring this project sees the light of the day. To our contractors, I charge you to approach this task with professionalism, diligence, and timelines. My office, together with the Ministry of Energy and other relevant institutions, will monitor progress to ensure value for money and excellence in delivery.
Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, called on the police to beef up surveillance and encourage the public to report any illegal activities that could derail the success of the project.
So I urge the police service, and we are calling the police service, to strengthen surveillance and enforce the law. We believe the police is providing us with a service that is required, but everybody here, especially municipal and district chief executives, you have to take charge of this project. To the public, I say that these lights are ours to protect. Let us report wrongdoings and ensure they continue to brighten our communities.
The official handing over ceremony marks the beginning of nationwide works to restore and expand street lighting infrastructure, a move aimed at improving safety, security, and visibility across the country.
We've got a business brief up next.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
The minority in Parliament has described the 2026 budget as growthless, jobless and minimalist, saying it falls short of addressing Ghana's urgent economic challenges. According to the caucus, the budget structure does not reflect a major shift towards job creation, productivity or economic transformation. Speaking to the press on Friday, November 14, on behalf of the caucus, former Finance Minister and Member of Parliament Amina Mohammed Doctor criticized the budget for lacking substance and for offering only a cosmetic rhetoric from what he called a crawling government.
The government chose to present even more half-baked policy ideas packaged as transformative initiatives. As a result, we look set to endure another year of fiscal indiscipline marked as prudence, despite the economic evidence demanding a change in approach. What we need is economic transformation, which Ghanaians were promised, but what we see now is economic stagnation masquerading as progress. It is economic decline disguised as development. And the 2026 budget does not offer the hope that could take us out of this. As we conclude, we would like to state that the structure of the 2026 budget does not support the claim of a major shift towards jobs, productivity, and transformation. Investment levels remain low, revenue projections are overly optimistic, borrowing pressures are high, key fiscal risks are under-discussed, flagship programs lack transparency and costing, and budget commitment. The lower GDP base and revenue shortfalls mechanically raise the debt to GDP ratio, even if the cash deficits narrow. In effect, Ghana is consolidating by shrinking the denominator of its debt ratio. True debt sustainability requires sustained growth and credible revenue mobilization, not austerity that undermines both. Also, hidden financing pressures have not been duly reflected. The government has faced several uncovered auctions this year, and this is likely to be repeated next year. The Bank of Ghana bills remain the attractive because they reflect the true interest that the market finds attractive and realistic, and these compete with the government's artificially managed bills. SOE liabilities beyond cocoa and energy that are not fully quantified. Domestic debt rollover risk, given the short-term maturities of government securities, as well as climate and disaster risks, which are not integrated into the macro-fiscal framework, pose further fiscal risk. Without addressing these risks, fiscal stability could be short-lived. Policies without clear budget risks are becoming slogans rather than deliverable programs. Ghana needs a better budget that strengthens revenue realism, expands productive investment, protects fiscal credibility, and enables the private sector to lead job creation. Members of the press, we can therefore, in conclusion, describe the 2026 budget, the Galamsey budget, as growthless, jobless, and minimalist budget. It contains only cosmetic rhetorics presented by a crawling government. The people of Ghana must speak up for the government to know that the honeymoon period is over.
So just gone by was the former finance minister under the second term of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that's Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. You've been joined in studio by the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Yendi constituency, Honourable Al-Hassan Abdul Fattah. Honourable, good evening.
Good evening.
We are grateful that you could join us in studio.
Yes.
You just heard your colleague from the other side. It says the budget is a Galamsey budget, is minimalist, jobless, is growthless. How do you respond exactly?
Thank you so much. I even listened to some other parts of it, some portions of his presser, where the part that excites me is when he says we are being overly optimistic. And I like that part. And I juxtapose that with what happened when we presented the first budget in March. When the finance minister presented the first budget in March, and he projected that our GDP was going to grow greater than or either more or less 4%. He gave 4% or more. They went and organized a similar press conference, and they said that they had grown the economy before that year by almost 5.something%. And so they are expecting any government taking over from them to be looking forward taking it higher, above the 5.something%. But to the extent that the finance minister was in Parliament presenting a budget and projecting 4% growth in 2025, it means that we are rather being pessimistic. And so when we are pessimistic, they come at us. And when we are optimistic, they come at us. And the good thing about it is that, you see, Atu would present you realistic figures. Can you believe, Ima, that when he projected that the economy, the GDP was going to grow by more than equal to or more than 4%, at the end of the 10 months, we have actually done 6.3%. And so it is better to under-promise and over-deliver than to over-promise and under-deliver. Now, the same finance minister, in the 2025 budget, he projected that the non-oil GDP was going to grow by 4.8%.
Right.
Today, as we speak, 10 months down the line, the non-oil GDP has grown by 7.8%. That is somebody who knows what he's about. He is under-promising, he is over-delivering. He's not being overly optimistic. In terms of inflation, if you check the budget we presented in March, the minister projected that we're going to end 2025 with an inflation rate of 11.9%. He was being pessimistic. Today, we are doing 8%. You understand?
8% actually.
You understand? And so, what is the optimistic here? Or where is the optimism? And so, we have a government who came in, saw the situation at hand, and gave projections based on the situation at hand. Today, he now has full control of the situation. So he can make bigger promises. You understand? He can be ambitious because he now has the foundation at hand. Unlike the previous time, where he just came to meet a situation, so he had to be measured in his projections. Today, he can make ambitious projections. That is why he's saying that in 2026 alone, the economy is expected to create 800,000 jobs.
Well, the minority says that 800,000, after the the budget reading after all that happened in the House. The Member of Parliament for the Kropong constituency, Samuel, who happens to be a former national organizer of the MPP, says that 800,000, about 490,000 will come from the road sector, and he doesn't believe we have so many engineers, so most people will be laborers. The 480,000, which is not a sustainable job.
So is he telling us that by his definition of job, if you employ labor, you are not creating job? What is he telling Ghanaians? If your skill level puts you in a particular situation, a particular job profile, it doesn't mean you are not.
Well, his argument is that after the roads are done, what next for those people?
So, for instance, we built the Atuabo gas plant before we left office in 2016. You understand?
Yeah.
When we were leaving office, the total employment figures at Atuabo was 200 employees. 8 years of their administration, do you know the number they have taken it to? Today, Atuabo has 1,250 employees. This was a construction work that was done. The construction phase of it employed people. The running of the facility has even added more people. You have added 1,050 people to the people we left when we were leaving office. And so if today the government is projecting to build GPP2, which is the gas processing plant 2, which is expected to now come on, then be an addition to the Atuabo. Because the plan of the government is to move us away from using light crude oil in the generation of our electricity to the use of natural gas. Because natural gas is cheaper. In fact, it's the cheapest. Yes, hydro is cheaper, but using natural gas is the cheapest. Thermal is expensive. And today we are doing largely thermal, which is why electricity bills are high. And so the projection is that if we build GPP2, which now will be able to even give us more megawatts of power. In fact, it is projected that when that is done and all we are going to have 1,200 megawatts. That is in total much higher than what even Akosombo Dam has been able to give. Akosombo Dam currently has an installed capacity of 1,020. This is projected to give 1,200. Now, if even this one, which is lesser, is giving us 1,250, is employing 1,250 employees. If you bring GPP2, can you imagine how many employees it will be created? It will be employing. Not just that. In fact, the agri-processing areas, we are going to have 7 agro-processing plants. So 7 manufacturing companies are going to be created. And they are going to be in the area of yam, fish, cashew, shea butter, and palm oil. And on the palm oil front, that is even going to be bigger because there's going to be a major drive towards making Ghana a hub for palm oil production. Because we cannot understand why we should be importing palm oil at this point. And so there's a projection to make palm oil like an alternative to cocoa. So that tomorrow, when you get up and you hear that the prices of cocoa on the world market has gone down, you don't shiver, you don't panic because you have an alternative to fall on. That sector will create huge amount of job. There will be the creation of the cashew factory, 2 cashew factories. You understand? One in Abu and another in Samba. There will be the creation of other alternative factories. There will be 3 garment factories. One in the eastern region, one in the Bono East region, and one in central region. These factories are going to create jobs. And universities, and you hear the president saying that $60 million has been, the finance minister said that $60 million has been secured.
For the Science and Technology University.
And the university in Damongo. That is equally going to create jobs. And what excites me most is the issue of the water situation. I am coming from a constituency that has for long been serious in dire need of water, to the extent that the former minister, the former president, Nanado, had to take Yana to a site and claim to even cut salt for the construction of the Yendi water project. Till date, even if you take somebody to go and look at the very spot they sat or they stood to cut the salt, you can't even find it. And we were told in Parliament that President Mara, before he left office, had secured $30 million for the project. We were told that $10 million was spent in just the paperwork, the preparatory works, and the rest no one knows what happened. They said DDP, the domestic debt exchange, swallowed everything. And today, we are having an economy that is promising more jobs. Today, public debt before they left office stood at 69% of GDP. In terms, public debt is now 45% of GDP.
You understand? And so almost all indicators are pointing towards the positive. And you see, if you want to know the health of the economy, if an economy is an economy that has oil in it, and you want to understand whether the economy is doing well, take out the oil component and see whether the other sectors, the non-oil sector, is doing well.
Honorable, would engage further on the budgets in the coming, but we are grateful that you could join us in studio.
Thank
Clearly,
you so
are elated and excited about the 2026 budget. That's Honorable, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Yendidi constituency. That's Honorable Al-Hassan Abdul Fattah. We have been discussing largely the 2026 budget and what the minority has been saying, and as well his position as well on that. But still in the business brief, the second edition of the Camel Treasure Hunt promotion has been launched with the grand prize of 100,000 Ghana cedis as the ultimate prize. According to management of PZ Cousins, producers of camel products, the promotion is aimed at rewarding customers for their loyalty, especially during challenging economic times.
The second edition of the promotion is expected to offer cash rewards in a range of exciting products to participating customers. The launch, held in Accra, attracted numerous customers and distributors. Speaking to the media, Adiza Safianu, finance manager for PZ Cuisines Ghana, emphasized that the promotion forms part of their commitment to give back to customers.
In 2024, we launched the first edition of Camel Treasure Hunt promo, born out of a desire to add value to the lives of our cherished customers during challenging times. We recognize the economic pressures facing individuals and families, and we stepped forward with a campaign that offered not just reward, but relief and support. We launched Camel Treasure Hunt 2 promo in solidarity with all customers and our trading partners, rewarding loyalty alongside a little extra excitement.
Category manager at PZ Cuisines, Clara Ofori Edu, also outlined the modalities of the promotion.
From the 14th November 2025 to 15th February 2026, that's a 13-week running, every purchase of Camel antiseptic liquid becomes a ticket to exciting rewards. The mechanics remains simple. Buy any Camel antiseptic product, scratch the panel, reveal the unique code, and text it to the number 1393. Collect all 5 letters of the set CAMEL, and with a grand prize, you win that 100,000 Ghana cedis.
The Camel Treasure Hunt promotion runs until February 15, 2026.
And that does it for the business brief. We still have more on the bulletin. Stay with us.
The business brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Going to the library.
Now time to bring you the latest in our world of sports. Ghana's Black Stars were outclassed in Japan this afternoon, losing 2-0 in the Kirin Challenge Cup. Japan took control early and scored in the 15th minute after a midfield mistake from Ghana. Captain Takumi Minamino calmly finished to put the host ahead. Goalkeeper Joseph Anang, making his debut, kept Ghana in the game with a few important saves, which to GHOne carried in a fine strike in the 59th minute. Otuado handed several players their debut, including GHOne, but the team suffered a was held today, where exciting matchups were reviewed for both female and male teams. Here is a detailed report of the draw.
The fair and transparent draw was held live on GHOne TV with all clubs fully represented. Mr. Alfred Ni Akufu, technical director of the Super Volleyball Championship, led the way to put the 16 teams in their various pools. Pool A for the women's teams drew the Ghana Air Force, AS Douanis from Burkina Faso, Ghana Police and the Ghana Army. The Calibi Nigeria Customs, LWAC Wings and the Ghana Immigration women's teams were placed in Pool B. For the men's side, a tough draw of the Ghana Army, AS Douanis, LWAC Wings and the Ghana Air Force were made for Pool A, while Pool B saw the Ghana Police, the Nigeria Customs, All-Stars team of Benin and the Ghana Navy put together for what promises to be an exciting group. Mr. Alfred Ni Akufu reacted to the draw and predicted a tough contest.
I expect the Ghanaian team to, because since the inception of 2025 league and the clubs were made aware that it is only the top 5, the standard was elevated. Yes, and for that matter, if you look at the top 5, seriously, each team there is capable of winning. Mohamed
Apitog, CEO of Kratos SE, couldn't hide his excitement after the draw.
I'm extremely amazed. I'm looking at the pools and I'm shaking my head. I mean, contrary to what by popularly we call him Yellow is saying, I think that all the groups are groups of death. I mean, you cannot underrate any team there. They all have their level of class. They are strong. The foreign teams that are coming are strong in their own rights.
Some team managers, coaches and players praised the organizing team for the fair draw and expressed optimism of success when the championship begins.
A very difficult one, but expect the best from us. We are going to do our best to win and qualify to the next stage.
So I know the strength of Ghana Army and Ghana Police, by the strength of AN, I don't know. But I know that we will assist you. It will be the top of the group. We will move forward to the next group.
The teams are much prepared for these tournaments. In fact, that is the tournament every volleyball player is dreaming of playing.
Our ladies team is well prepared for it. So any team that we meet there will beat it. We are well prepared and we are ready for this year. We are ready to shine.
I assure the Ghanaian public that Kalimi is going to show that it's a league champion, a local champion, and then we take the SBC.
All is now set for the 2025 SAC Super Volleyball Championship, where 16 teams will battle for West African supremacy at the Boteman Sports Complex from the 16th of November.
Let's now head to the entertainment zone. The Chinchim Band is ready to set the stage on fire with this much-anticipated annual concert in Chinchim Experience happening today, Friday, 14 November 2025, at the National Theatre here in Accra, Ghana. Now, in its fourth edition, the event promises an unforgettable night of live music, cultural pride, and soul-stirring performances. This year's show themed Ghana's Rhythm, Our Legacy, and titled The EVV edition is set to celebrate Ghana's rich musical heritage and the vibrant flavors that bring Ghanaians together. Bring you some international news. And on the international front, Tanzanian president has promised probe into the election protest deaths as she has urged prosecutors to consider reducing or dropping charges for individuals involved in unrest without fully understanding their actions. And that does it for the entire broadcast. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Emmanuel Ijaben. On behalf of the entire team, we say thank you for keeping faith with us throughout the entire weekend on every edition of News Tonight.